This is one of those, I like to call them Iroquoian stories because it comes from the core of my imagination, and a lot of my imagination, as well as other people's imagination, is created when we're first born because and as we grow older into those younger ages, because, well, let's face it, the world at that point is unknown to us. So our imagination is pretty exploratory, but I try to hold on to whatever little bit of imagination that I do have to help me get by in this life. Today is my dog's birthday. I have 3 dogs that were born on this day, which is April 21st. And they were born from my dog Bullet and my dog Mookie. And their names are Kingston, Mr. Knight, and Princess Luna. So this story is dedicated to them and kind of like a reflection of what we're dealing with today in life, I guess, to bring it down into proper place and perspective. So, a long time ago, these people who were later categorized, rightfully so, because they categorized themselves as such, the Iroquois, they had a long history of expanding their knowledge and cross-referencing what they were doing against what the animals were doing, and trying to understand their patterns of life and cross-referencing what their own people were doing and trying to gain knowledge in between, okay? So there was this pretty large, very, very large black wolf, and his age was unknown, but he had been around for a long time, and he dated back in history by people who knew about him quite some time. And he was referred to as Black. Well, Black, like any other male species out there, has, there's a point in time of mating season. So he mated with a smaller size wolf, and her name was Jenna. And they had their children. And as their habits were, much like they are today, they separated their children out, placing the weakest aside and focusing strength and knowledge on the stronger side. And so when they had their children, Black and Jenna, there was one that was considered the weaker one. And so Black ordered Jenna to take her child, the weaker one, and place him in and amongst the humans. And if he happened to gain strength along the way, they would certainly welcome him back into the pack at any point in time. But for the time being, they felt that it was safer if he was with humans. So she did as she was ordered by her man, Black, and she left her child in with the humans. He was small, and so he easily could be viewed as a dog, but he definitely was a wolf. Well, these people did pick him up, and they named him Indian Boy. And so he would often travel from various points with the family that he was living with, and he'd always leave things for his mother in particular to pick up along the way because she'd check on him. And at some point in time, analyzing the animals as the people did, they said, there's going to come a time when the old thought of carrying the strongest ones forth, because it's the strongest blood, is going to get reversed. In the past, the father would always surround him with his strongest sons, the strongest blood. And the weaker ones, like the women, the females, would get aligned with the mothers. And if there happened to be a weaker boy, he would be required to do, household type chores as opposed to following his father around. But there would come a day, based on changes, unnatural changes in current day, that the requirement to change that would have to happen, and happen fast. Meaning the father would have to pick up the strands of the weakest one, most importantly that of the boy, and surround him by the strongest men, his brothers, for protection. And if we look at this transgender stuff, it's not natural. I don't agree with it. I have my right to my own opinion. I'm not racist or any of that stuff, but you cannot fuck with Mother Nature. You can't do it. Okay? You cannot cross the boundaries of Mother Nature. Because Mother Nature will and can, with all the power that she has, shut this whole place down. So, my advice, much like when they originally started taking over the land, the people that lived here, their pets were not domestic animals. They were wild animals, and they weren't pets. They just had a common bond, and they didn't fear one another. And when people first started coming here out of insane jealousy and to try to acquire something of strength known of this land, they would do things like capture a wolf and crossbreed it with a household dog, and then walk forward with the biological concept that they created and think they were better than the people of this land. And then from that point, they started crossbreeding all kinds of things. Now we're to the point where, I don't understand all this, the verbiage that goes along with it, nor do I want to. I want to stay in my old-fashioned world where I feel comfortable, where life had more meaning. And I don't want to be confronted with any of that stuff. It has nothing to do with me. It's not my choices. It's not my decisions. I would never go there because I strongly believe in the earth and how it was all created. So there's going to be a time when men of real stature, like Black, he's a wolf, like Mookie, my dog, that's a dog of real blood and real stature that protects his own blood. But humans are going to step forth and start protecting what's theirs. They have to. And they need to guide them in the right direction, because the end result is the elimination and extinction of females. And that's just not a proper place to go. And if you think things don't happen fast, you need to look back in history, because things happen really super fast. In my lifetime, I've seen a lot of stuff happen and go in the wrong direction. Things I never thought would ever happen. Once a change is made, it happens. It's almost like a disease. It's a rapid change. And people need to start taking all this stuff seriously. So I honor you, Black. I honor you, Jenna. I honor you, Mookie. I honor you, Bullet. And thank you so very much for the gifts that you gave me and trusted me enough for your blood, which is Kingston, Mr. Knight, and Princess Luna. And I wish I had Mr. Knight and Princess Luna with me. I do have Kingston. Happy birthday, Kay. Somehow I'm going to mark this day for you. It is your birthday, but in the future, I'm going to mark this in a big way for you. Love you.